Alright, here is our video on how to set up the PowerPoint station. You'll need this box, and everything you need for this station should be in this box, but there might be a few things out of the box. So just pay attention to the items that I use in the video, and you should be able to find anything that you need. So we're going to need power at this station. We're on the front side of the table now. Here's the stage. And what we do is we've got this power strip here, and we actually have to plug it into this one and not this guy right here, because there's something stuck in here and so it's broken. Don't plug that in, it won't plug in all the way. Gotta plug it into this one. We're also going to be using quite a bit of this Lockport gaff tape to secure things. So we've secured it to the ground. This way musicians don't pull from it, and it stays here for this station. So just make sure to tape it down. Try to be as nice as you can. This isn't the best tape job ever, but just try and make it nice. Make sure you can see the lighting visibly, and then also that all ports are available. Okay, so the first thing is you'll need our HDMI and CAT splitter. So you'll open up this box, and there's actually going to be quite a few things in here, but you'll only need two things. You'll need our splitter device and the power cable for it. Okay, so we've taken our HDMI splitter and our CAT splitter, and we've taped it to the table to secure it, and then we've plugged in our power supply and screwed that in. Screws on ready tidy. And then here's our on switch. You can just hit on, and if you go to the front, we've got a little red light indicating that it's on, and then we've just plugged that into the power splitter that we set up. We've also included a little bit of space here, about an inch or so space, and that is so that our cables can rest on the table and they're not just overhanging, pulling on those outputs and inputs. So just make sure to give it a little bit of space on the table just for that. Alright, so the first thing we're running out of this box is going to be our HDMI cable that goes to the projector. So it's going to look like this blue-black print, and we have two of these cables. This is going to be the shorter one. It's going to plug into the red strip, or the first HDMI out. That's going to run along here in front of the station. It's going to go all the way around. It's going to go back to here, to this little control panel here, and it'll go into the top HDMI input. And that is how you're going to get your video to the projector. Okay, so now we've hooked up our docking station for our computer. So we've hooked that up. We've got the power supply running out of it into our surge protector down here. And then this is what the power supply looks like. Green light means good. And we've given, again, some space here for the cables to rest on the table if they need to, kind of like how this one is, rather than just hanging off. And then we've also been conscious to tape it on the front, allowing there to be space for the inputs and outputs on the front, but also allowing there to be have the vents open on the sides so that it doesn't overheat, because this will actually work like a computer. It's got fans inside and it will get hot, so we're just trying to be conscious about keeping that airflow good. You'll also have the port right here. This is a USB-C lightning cable, and this is what will plug into your computer to connect the whole thing together. The second cable we're going to plug in is this purple one. It's HDMI input, and that's going to go out of here. It's going to go down through here. It's off the table. It's going to plug into this DisplayPort HDMI adapter. So you'll plug the HDMI cable into this. Then it'll go into this DisplayPort adapter. It looks like this. Very similar to an HDMI. It's just slightly different. That'll plug into the first slot right here, right next to this HDMI slot and other DisplayPort slot. The other thing that you'll be plugging into here is going to be this HDMI cable. It's plugging into this right here, right next to our DisplayPort connection, and that's going to go all the way to the TV down there, and that's going to be your connection to that screen. We're going to assume that you've already watched the setup to that setup down there. So if you haven't watched that yet, if you haven't set that up, there should be a link in the description or in somewhere in the corner here where you can click on that and go to that part of that video. Alright, so if you look at our stage I/O list, you'll notice that ProPresenter is on input 15. So that will be on the bottom box here and the number 15 slot. So that's right here. If you can kind of see the number in there. And that'll go all the way behind the rolling cart to our table. Now back over at our table, we've actually got that cable that I just showed you plugged into this DI box. We've got the DI box taped to the table, and then in the input setting, we've got that running out with a 1/4 inch patch cable. It's yellow. It's going to go out into the headphone slot of our interface. Our interface is going to have a USB slot. It looks like this. It's a little MIDI cable, USB MIDI cable. So our MIDI cable is going to go out from the box. It's going to go all the way over here. It's going to plug into one of these USBs. It doesn't really matter. I usually plug it into the lower one. That way we can just have space for another one if I need to input another USB there during Sunday. So you won't have to mess with these settings, but this is included in here just in case you're a little bit confused or something might not be working. This is a good place to troubleshoot. These are the settings. So you'll want this to be all the way up, the little headphone knob, and you want your main to also be all the way up. Other than that, your playback should be set all the way to playback instead of inputs. And then your inputs can just be at 0 because we're not inputting any audio into the front of this thing. There's also a 48 volt button. Just make sure that's unclicked. So right now it's unclicked. If it were clicked, it's slightly indented and pushed in. So just make sure that's unclicked. And this thing should be working well. Just make sure that USB is plugged in the back and you should be good to go. So the in-ear capability for the PowerPoint station is going to be out of output 8 on the in-ear channel. So that's going to go out through this cable. It's going to go to a XLR, and that's going to go across the stage over to the PowerPoint table. On the other end of that, you're going to plug into this in-ear packet that has a little volume knob on top, and then you're going to plug in the headphones. There's going to be 2 more cables you need for the station. It's going to be the cat cable on the spool, and then this open cat wire here. So the cat cable on the spool is going to plug into this green tape one. That's going to be the cat output 2. It's going to plug in right here, and that will go out the door into the hallway and then go all the way up to our sound booth up there, and that'll plug into our live stream computer area. The second part of that is going to be this cable right here, this loose cat cable. That's going to plug into this silver piece of tape. It looks a little white on the video. It's silver. And that's going to go on output 1, cat output 1. That's going to go out behind this curtain, and you're going to be plugging it into that, the rolling TV during service. So leave it unplugged. I recommend running the wire out, kind of leaving it in a spool here, a pile, and then when you move it out during the buffer video in the service, you'll just bring that cable out. You'll plug it into this little input here, and you should be good to go. You'll get that image on the screen. So that about wraps it up for this station. You'll bring the PowerPoint slides computer in on Sunday. You can plug it in with this cable. You can plug into any of the inputs. I don't have it with me today, but you'll just set that here, and you should be good to go for this station. There will be a red indicator light that this is on. There will be a red indicator light on that, and then this will actually also light up once you plug it into the computer to make sure it's got power. So as long as you've got those indicator lights on, you should have power to this station. And yeah, thanks for watching.